Dark, fantastical, and heavily inspired by the Cthulhu mythos, Darkest Dungeon asks the question, if you had to make a living fighting monsters, how would that actually affect you psychologically? It's a grim romp through a hopeless world that openly revels in how fragile mortality is. But is it a good game as well? Well, hold on to your tentacle repellent because we are about to find out. So, here's the good news. Turns out you've inherited a mansion. Bad news. Said mansion is perched on top of a burial place for an eldritch abomination. Worse news. Said abomination's power has now corrupted the surrounding landscape and transformed all of its inhabitants into freaks of nature. You aim to fix this. Good luck! There is a narrative in Darkest Dungeon, but most of the stories I ended up caring about were the ones that dynamically happened to my party during play. You see, you're less a member of the team and more of a manager, a guiding force that decides when to explore, when to rest, and how your party members will handle themselves in combat. Because of this, you're also the one that gets to feel the weight of these decisions as both the short and long-term ramifications of them become increasingly clear. Everything is turn-based, giving you plenty of time to ponder the ramifications of your choices. And trust me, every single choice counts. Enemies are built tough in this place, and chances are you'll have to fight more than one group of them to accomplish your mission. And I was definitely feeling the pressure to complete the job I set out to do. You may keep whatever you find while exploring, but I found I was only walking away with spoils that made up for my preparation expenses if I actually saw the quest through. Not only that, if you run back to town before the journey is over, nobody gains experience, so I felt even more like I had wasted my time and my precious resources. There is one thing my team got to keep, though, all of the stress they accumulated over the trip. Yes, physical damage is not the only thing you have to worry about in this game. Getting hit by certain attacks, as well as many other things, can raise a party member's stress level, and if that gets high enough, they can develop complexes, go insane, and even have a heart attack. Some of these complexes can cause them to start gibbering or even become abusive, raising the stress levels of other party members and bringing them even closer to the brink, so it becomes a problem very, very quickly. To prevent this from happening, you can have them do a variety of things in town, such as pray, meditate, or even visit a house of ill repute. Just bear in mind that they might come back with more than a night of passion. Town is also where you can upgrade a party member's gear, abilities, and even send them to the sanatorium to remove any negative traits they might have picked up. Just bear in mind, most of these options will remove them from the active lineup for one adventure, meaning if your star tank is out with a case of the crazies, you'll have to make do with backups. Because of all this, the atmosphere of hopelessness and despair that Darkest Dungeon sets out to create is laid on thick, and not just from the aesthetic and music. Despite how many times I managed to just scrape by, or how many close calls I got, things never felt like they were getting better, just more dangerous. Some of my characters died, some of them lived. Those that did live became more powerful and thus more precious. Sending them out to the field after that felt both necessary and like a major risk, because while their advanced skill increased everybody's odds of survival, if the dice just didn't come up in my favor and something happened to them, it would hurt tremendously. I felt myself getting incredibly attached to some of these guys, meaning both the tension and the triumph associated with their exploits was all the more impactful. Basically, I got the same feeling most people tell me they get when they play Dark Souls or Bloodborne. It's that thrill of conquering something that seems so menacing, of triumphing despite the fact that the odds are seemingly stacked so far out of your favor. And to me at least, it's very enjoyable because of that. If you like the idea of turn-based combat that actually challenges you, consider Darkest Dungeon. If you like Cthulhu horror games that actually nail the heart of what that mythos sets out to inspire in people, consider Darkest Dungeon. And if you like role-playing games where your decisions truly matter, then in my opinion, $20 is more than worth what you'll find in this twisted little title. Now farewell to you all, for I am going back in.